How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I wanted to talk about mistakes, that they are proof that you're trying, that you're on the right path. And just think about anything that you've ever done in your life, anything that you've ever learned, any skill that you've learned, any topic you've ever studied. Anything that you've done, is every success has always been peppered with mistakes, right? One mistake after another mistake after another mistake. I mean, a good way of looking at this is to look at, I don't know if you've ever played video games. I haven't got a video game machine anymore, but when my son was living in the house, we had always had the PlayStations and we had an Xbox. But the PlayStation, one of my favorite games was chasing Nazis, right? It was it was one of these games where it was sort of based on World War II, and you I think it was third-person shooter. You couldn't see yourself, right? All you could see was the gun sticking out, and you were off playing like you were a soldier and stuff. And I loved those kind of games. Another game we played was a game called Jak and Daxter, and it was in this sort of a cartoony alien world with this guy with a sort of an alien sort of a creature who had a little mate who was like a little shrew on his shoulder, like a little like a big rat sort of a thing, if I can remember rightly. But all of these games require you to go through different stages, right? And the amount of times that you're killed, right? You're just killed over and over and over and over again, right? And you get killed, and then you get killed again, and then you figure out something, and you're able to get past a certain point in the game, right? And you move on, right? And then you get killed and killed and killed again, and the same thing happens over and over again, you know. And it's the same thing with anything that you're going to learn in life. There is mistake after mistake after mistake, right? And you lose more times than you gain, right? But it's through making those mistakes that you actually learn something about, well, that's wrong, or now maybe I'll try something differently. Then you try something different, and eventually you get it figured out. It's exactly the same way with your failures, right? And I mean, I don't want anyone to fail with quitting drinking alcohol. Nobody should fail with quitting drinking alcohol, because it all boils down to the same thing. You don't put it into your mouth. That's it, period. Now, the reason why most people fail at the quitting drinking alcohol is because they don't deal with the outside of their lives. They don't deal with everything else. They don't deal with the gaps, right? The parts of their life that are missing because they've taken the alcohol out. And when you take alcohol out of your life, it's a massive behavior, right, that you tug out by its roots, right? And it just leaves so many different holes, right, in your thinking, in your behavior, in your day-to-day life, right? And you have to fill those holes with something, right? And it's an ongoing process. It's a dynamic process. It takes time for it to mature out and to evolve, but it's something that you have to deal with. And that's why I say, try to prepare yourself beforehand, before you quit, right? Try to figure out exactly what you're going to be doing. What you're going to be doing to overcome the cravings. What are you going to be doing to when you're bored, you know, to figure out what you're going to do when you're bored shitless and you don't know what, you know, when you would normally drink, when you're trying to relax and you can't relax because your trusty glass of wine is gone. Figure out what you're going to do when you can't sleep at night. All those things in the early days, these are the things that are going to scupper you, right, if you don't have a plan, right? So you've got to understand what you're going to do when you get to this roadblock. You know, if you have a plan, then it clicks over and you go, right, this is what I planned for, right? I feel a craving now. I'm going to get up and do something differently. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I can't sleep now. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up out of my bed. I'm going to go out into the front room. I'm going to sit down for a while. I'm going to read a book and then try again in half an hour, or whatever it is. So you have to have a plan of action. When you're filling these gaps with other things, right? When you're dealing with the cravings, when you're dealing with sleeplessness, right? When you're dealing with not being able to relax, when you're dealing with socializing without alcohol, all these areas are going to be new to you, right? You've done them before. I mean, you've done relaxation, you've done sleep, you've gone out socializing, but you haven't done them without alcohol. So you're going to make mistakes in these areas. You're going to do things that don't work for you. And don't give up. You know, this is just a mistake. It's just a learning process. You have to figure out, this is not worked, why didn't it work? Or I can try something differently now next time. I can move somewhere differently if I'm not relaxed here. I can try sitting in a different chair. I can try putting on different music or candles or whatever it is, but try something differently. That anything that you can think of that shifts the emphasis away from what you've been doing onto something else and just puts you into a slightly different direction. That's a learning process, right? And it's through this learning process that you learn. So don't look at failures like they're anything else but learning opportunities to learn. You know, every mistake that you make is a sign of progress. Even if you don't think it is, right? It's a sign that you're moving forwards. There's an old saying that all it takes is one mistake to change everything, right? And you can look at that from two different perspectives. You can look at it from a negative perspective, which says that, yeah, this mistake and everything was going good and I made the mistake and now everything's gone, you know. Or you can look at it like, I made a mistake and it changed everything that I thought about my life. I mean, that's the thing that pushed me over the edge with my son. Went out drinking with my son, had a right fucking load of booze in different pubs and, you know, pub crawl, and we ended up on the beach and we were sprawling around on the beach, messing and playing and stuff like that. And he lost his iPhone. It was not an iPhone, it was an iPod. Anyway, he lost this thing in the sand. He didn't realise it until the next day. And we went looking for it. And I remember just watching him walking up and down. That was a mistake, but that mistake changed everything in my life. So every failure has got that opportunity to progress, to move you forwards and to, you know, be a better person, get the better life that you want, you know, to learn about yourself and to learn about your life. And you know, it's just it's a good positive way of looking at things, right? You know, every success in life has always been peppered by mistakes. Every success that you've ever made in your life, everything that you've ever learned in your life has always been peppered by the same mistakes. So take mistakes as that, as signs that you're moving forward, that you're going in the right direction. Look, I'm going to leave it there, carry on walking. Until next time, my name's Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Take care of yourself. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth, onwards and upwards. Take care. Good luck. Bye now.